Greetings, the second provocation of Dorothy Day. Follow your conscience. Maybe that's just as difficult as making yourself deeply uncomfortable. It's a tough ask, because what is this small voice that we call conscience? I don't know. It's somehow we know when we're following the best path, and that voice makes us uncomfortable when we're not. So how do we know? The logotherapy question that sometimes I ask people is, you're facing a dilemma, you're facing a decision. What is best for me? What is best for others? What ought to be? In other words, what is all our experience, the messages of our childhood, the society around us, what we know, what ought to be? And then finally, what does the voice of self-transcendence say? Because self-transcendence is that capacity to do something that is noble and beyond the self, that looks outside. So I ask clients those questions at times. Sometimes I would ask it this way. I'd say, what would your children be most proud of as they look back at your life and decisions? Because we can't live life for the second time, but we can ask ourselves what we would be proud of at the end of life. So where does conscience fit in? Well, we start by developing judgment and courage. Judgment. Stop fooling ourselves that we're following our conscience, when in fact we're following our selfish ego, or maybe we're acting out of fear. What is best for me? What is best for others? What ought to be? And then sometimes, what does the voice of self-transcendence say? Because there's a place in logotherapy conscience for what we call intuitive conscience, that says we're going to act outside the norm. But that takes courage to stand against the tide. And yet that stand can in fact be welcomed by others, by our family, by those around us, even though we were afraid to take that step. Or maybe the stand we take is only recognised after we've gone. What are your children going to be proud of is the question. After we've gone, if you have a chance, Google Sugihara, whose courage was recognised by those that he saved, but whose own courage in broad perspective was never recognised except by accident, because his files managed to survive the war. So conscience is like a muscle. Lack of exercise makes it weak and flabby, and yet it refuses to go away. It will still be there. It will nag at us. We cannot anaesthetise us. We can simply protect ourselves against it and let it become weak and flabby. Follow your conscience. Thank you for listening.